Hello, everyone. My name is Sarah Sunny, and I am Texas Deca District 7's president. And I think the person that we have on today really doesn't need an introduction. You guys have seen her absolutely everywhere on social media, and she's
Oh my
making this
gosh.
face, and I'm like, 100%, you are everywhere on, I don't even
Oh
know
my
how to
gosh.
call it, Deca Insta. It's like every single thing I see.
You're
Um,
too nice.
I'm not. And we talked about this just a second ago that when I started my Deca account, she was the first person who really started to kind of comment on my post. And I felt like, okay, I'm doing something right if Alex is commenting on here.
Oh.
So it made me feel really happy about that. But I know I just kind of said your name, but go ahead and introduce yourself. So what's your name, your grade, how many years have you been in Deca, and your officer position, which we all know who you are, but it's okay.
Hi, everyone. My name is Alex Ellsworth, and I'm the Nevada Deca State President. I'm going into my senior year, class of 2023. And this is my fourth year in Deca, and I'm just so excited to get the opportunity to be state president and be a senior and really do my best to represent my state. So it's exciting. I'm really glad.
Super excited. So congratulations on that.
Thank you so much.
Big deal. So before we just get started, I just kind of want to talk about you and the idea of kind of taking the step. First of all, you obviously are your
Right.
association's president, but
Mhm.
also switching over to social media is just such a different aspect, I feel.
So true.
Right. So I started my Deca Instagram account,
Mhm.
like it had to have been pretty soon. No, I think it was at the Texas Leadership Summit. I think I started
Oh,
it,
yeah.
or maybe a little bit before. And it was very like kind of recent to when I got elected for district office.
Yeah.
And
Congrats on that, by the way, Miss Area 7.
and so it was very much that I kind of wanted outreach opportunities to meet people that I
Right.
hadn't seen before. And I mean, social media is just always going to be a great way to
Yeah.
kind of connect with others, but growing your platform the way you have is completely different. The exponential growth and just also just the continuous kind of stability in what your platforms look like, it has to obviously do with the fact that you put so much work into it. You constantly post, you're constantly interacting with others, but also just talk a little bit about your social media and kind of how you grew that.
Yeah, sure. So I started a Deca Instagram pretty late into my freshman year. So I'm a senior right now. So I've definitely had it for a few years now. And I just remember one of my association officers at the time anyway, they had a Deca Instagram and they would just post all the pictures. So at first it just started as just me like posting my pictures, and a few of my friends made like cute little Deca accounts.
Right.
And we didn't really know the true meaning and how incredible it is to have Instagram be such a large platform for Deca. And it's so cool to see so many like association officers have Deca accounts. It's kind of funny though, isn't it? Like how Deca is so like Instagram based, but
I know, right? It's just
it's funny though.
the social media side of it. It's just, I mean, I guess it makes sense. It's about marketing, but
Yeah. But it's just really cool to see how eventually, and then through my sophomore year, more and more people started to have accounts. And eventually I just started posting a ton for Deca month and just for certain events. And I just started following a ton of people and chapters from other states, just mostly just because I wanted ideas for my own chapter, just so I could like learn off of them and they could learn off of me, that sort of thing. And then after like a while, I think it was like the start of my junior year, I just started commenting on people's posts, because when I used to post, I would barely get comments. And I'm like, you know what? I would rather go through my following and comment on their posts and have them get some random girl from Nevada than no one at all. So it's just really cool how eventually through all the conferences I was lucky enough to be able to attend, all the incredible people I got to meet. It was just so cool that we all got to connect through social media as other association officers had Deca and other chapters had Deca. It was just, and that's how I met Sarah too. Sarah's such a beautiful person on the inside and out. And it's
Thank
so
you.
nice just to be able to talk with you finally.
Right.
And it's so amazing because social media did that.
Right.
And yeah, it's just the more people that I've gotten the opportunity to talk to, it's so cool that so many of my good friends I've connected through social media. So it's just really powerful how Deca is so Instagram based and how everyone's been able to just meet new people and connect with each other and all that. So I'd say that just through time and just through I'm pretty extroverted and I just wanted to meet new people. So after a while, it's just, yeah, I love Instagram for the purpose of Deca. It's just, everyone's on it. It's so nice to meet people.
And it's just like, it kind of reflects the reality of what Deca is as a community, is that people
Right.
are genuinely so supportive of you. that they don't know you. A lot of people that do comment on my posts, they haven't met me. They might have maybe chatted with me on a one Deca call or something like that, but it hasn't ever been a formal conversation where we met each other, whatever it is, but they're just immediately supportive of what other people put out and the different experiences that those people are kind of a part of, which is insanity to me, because I started this series and then immediately people were like, that's cool. And I was like, thank you for saying that, because I thought through it. I was like, I just want to talk to people.
And no, because it is really cool. It is cool. Just I remember commenting on it. I'm like, oh my God, that's such a good idea. I thought it was such a good idea.
Thank you. So what is your Deca journey? I ask every single person that comes on here because I genuinely think that it is the most important part of a Deca member, especially somebody who has been in leadership positions, who's been on the competition side of things, who's seen kind of different aspects of what Deca is. Just the entire kind of journey, what people go through, kind of formulate you not only as a Deca member, but what you're going to become in the future. So go ahead and just talk about your Deca journey and how'd you join? I know a lot of chapters are smaller, some are larger.
Sure.
And the second part of the question, which we'll talk about later, is just kind of what your struggles or just things that were hard for you in general versus your highs in Deca, because there's so many different things that we all go through.
Yeah, very true. But journey specifically, this is my 4th year. And I remember in my freshman year, I was always keen on meeting new people and joining clubs and just putting myself out there. And I saw Deca and I'm like, oh, this is such a great organization. And it was just, the community at my chapter was really nice. It was just so good to meet so many like-minded people. And that was just so powerful for me because, I was a freshman joining high school. I went to a high school that I didn't know anybody from my middle school. So it was really nice just to immediately feel very welcomed. So it was so nice that Deca was just such a perfect place for me to just feel like myself and to meet new people. And then through my first year, I went to my state conference, and that was so cool. I got the opportunity to see the incredible impact that association officers have, because I feel like we all relate to that in a sense. In some state conference, we see the association officers speak and we think they're the coolest people ever. I was obsessed with the previous officers. I thought they were so cool. They were so well-spoken. They were so eloquent with their words, and they were so confident. It was just really nice to be around those kinds of people. But from there, and that led into my sophomore year being, hey, I kind of want to run. I think this would be so cool, because the impact they had on me, I would hope to be like them and maybe have an impact that they had on me. So eventually I ran for my vice president of leadership. I had that position through my junior year. Some of the most beautiful experiences. I just never realized how important it is to be an association officer and the pure privilege it is to be an association officer. And I'm sure you can understand that as well. It's just so powerful to meet so many great people and actually interact with members that really care about Deca and really care about their lives. So
mindset.
Right. And it's so, just the connections you make with your own team as well. It's really, really an important thing. And then that led me to wanting to run for association president, just because the impact that members had on me as well as I had on them I just wanted to keep that going, because I felt like my work wasn't finished, and I just wanted to keep that going. And that was probably one of the best decisions I've made, because Deca's taken over my life in the very best way. And I could not be more grateful.
And about the idea of just kind of when you see it, well, first off, this is very mind-boggling to a lot of people, but I have never been to an in-person state conference.
Have you not yet?
So I'll explain really fast.
Yeah, go for it.
Freshman year, virtual competition.
Right.
Sophomore year, weather issues. Texas is really bad when there's ice and snow involved.
Oh my gosh.
So, and the thing is, I live in North Texas. I don't live in a very hot area. I live by Dallas. So I'm thinking, how are you not equipped for that? But whatever. So our school district basically said that they weren't, for safety reasons, just weren't going to send buses because the roads were icy, and it was in Houston, so it was far or whatever.
Yeah.
Granted, other districts near us did end up going, but I'm not salty at all about that.
You're like,
it's not like it's a big deal or anything. But luckily enough, at the time, so Kathleen Upalapati, she was our chapter's president. She was
Right.
also, oh, I could be wrong about this. I think she was VP Career Development. I think that was her title, but she was a state officer for Texas
Right.
at the time. And I will say, so our school has, minus the exception of this past year, but every year
You go to Wakeland, right?
I go to Wakeland, yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
So about like 6 years in a row, we had state officers every single year.
Oh,
And
wow, I didn't know that.
yeah, so I mean, honestly, I always say this, that there are a lot of opportunities just through our particular chapter,
Right.
because I think we're also like top 10 in membership, all those different things.
Yeah.
When I look at it, I'm like 217 people isn't actually that much compared to some of the really, really big schools. And then I'm sitting thinking, well, we are in the top 10, so I guess it is pretty large.
Right.
But, so when that all basically happened, she got to go to state conference, which I was very happy for her, because she's a state officer. So her not being able to speak at that conference would have been a big deal. But I did watch their campaign, or I guess the candidates' campaign speeches for that year.
Right.
And it was like and I was a voting delegate. So I was just watching them, and all of a sudden I'm thinking, this is really cool. It's really, I mean, there were kids that were doing it through Zoom because they weren't available to go to conference, but they were so energetic, so visually, just kind of hand gestures, the way they did things was so apparent. And it made me very sure of my decision to have run for district office a little bit earlier. And the fact that I had that position, I was like, okay, well, I see why I like it so much. Like, it makes sense. So there is something, so besides the fact that I haven't actually been in person, I did see the idea of what being an association officer or district officer looks like. And that first step is kind of going inside of your own chapter and seeing what that's going to look like for yourself. So I had the great opportunity of being appointed as vice president of my chapter my freshman
good for you.
year. So it was elected my freshman year for sophomore year. And it was like the greatest leap of faith that my advisor has ever made, because there hadn't been a sophomore before. It was always junior, and then a senior was president. And so I kind of skipped the line. And I've always been very, very grateful for the opportunity to kind of get ahead and kind of gaining those leadership positions. But
good for you, seriously.
Thank you.
Good for you. You deserve it.
Congratulations again for all of your work in Deca, especially with your officer terms, both of them. It's crazy just how many people really kind of see the appeal of what it's like to lead an organization, because it's so different. And I said this last time with Liv, I said that the competition aspect and the leadership aspect of Deca are so different, because the benefit of competition is that everybody goes in and they're exactly the same.
Right.
Whereas if you're speaking in front of people, I mean, you're just as jittery, just as nervous sometimes.
Right.
You're still up there to make a difference on the organization that you love so much. So yeah, that's kind of my
you're
little
so right.
What that is.
You're so right, though. And it's honestly, I know I was listening to the section that you filmed with Liv, and I love that you brought that up too, because there really is just two different portions of Deca. There's the competition part, right, that we all know about. That's the initial part of joining. And then the leadership part just kind of sneaks up on you. You just don't expect it to have that much of an impact on you. And even on your association team or your chapter. And it's literally the leadership portion of Deca sneaks up on you, and you just don't expect it to.
Because I can ask you right now, did you ever expect to be Nevada state president when you were a freshman?
Oh no.
There you go. Every single person will have the exact, I mean, I guess there'll be a few overzealous kids that are like, no, I don't know. But if I ask the majority of people, they're going to be like, I never thought that was going to happen. I never thought I was going to ever run for district office. I only had the idea the notion to, because I was my chapter's vice president my sophomore year. The kind of natural progression is to, if you want room to run for other positions in the future, is to run sophomore year, give yourself time or whatever it is. So I would have never taken that initial step. And so I'm thinking back to my freshman year, and I'm like, no, I would have never done it. I would have
100%
way in over my head at that moment. So it is crazy how it literally sneaks up on you.
It totally does.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I'm so glad you asked that, because it's so funny. I mean,
it is.
You can
because you're so confident in it now. You're like, I can't believe my life would be so different without this. Whereas it almost wasn't that way. Like you almost didn't have those things if you never decided to take the step to actually do it. And every single person that I've talked to on this series and even outside of it have said that it's really just about that initial step.
I know. And it's just crazy how, I mean, even through like the matter of years that you're in Deca, things just slowly progress. Like it can even start as being a chapter officer and then being a chapter president, running for district office, running for like, you know, it's just slowly progresses in ways that you would have never guessed in your freshman year. And I mean, I'm speaking for myself here. I barely ended up getting myself into in my freshman year, let alone becoming association president. Like I had no idea that that's just going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy sometimes. So struggles and highs of Deca.
Struggles and highs. Oh my gosh. It's so funny though, because when I think about, I mean, obviously nothing's perfect, but what I can say is just, I've grown to love Deca so much that sometimes it doesn't even, sure, it can be a lot of behind the scenes, if you know what I mean.
Right.
You know, there's a lot of like social media work. Yeah. All the planning and everything and managing school, outside life, everything. But when you like it enough, it doesn't always feel like work.
I love that very much.
So sometimes when it seems, when you can look back and be like, oh my gosh, like that was a lot, but in reality, I can't complain because I love it so much. And I think I think some of the main struggles just from being an association officer specifically is just sometimes balance. And also just as much as I make it such a priority, especially for me communicating with chapter officers and my team, as much as I want communication to be, because communication is key. We all know that.
Right.
As much as I want to be so good about that, sometimes, you know, we all get lost in our own lives and sometimes you get busy. So sometimes it's not always the easiest thing to keep track of everybody as much as we would like to, you know,
I mean, it's hard.
Yeah, it's
especially even for association officers. For district officers, it's a little bit easier because you're kind of close in distance. You kind of
But even so, don't discredit yourself. You still do so much.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot sometimes. And I mean, look, I'm very fortunate to have a district officer team that is somehow all in the same school district. I don't know how that happened this year. I don't even know if we might have ever had 3 officers from the exact same school district. So like one of my VPs, he's probably a 15-minute drive. So it's kind of funny to actually think about that. We can like, we're meeting tomorrow to have dinner with our advisors and kind of get to know what that's going to be like. So we do a lot of those kind of check-ins.
Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah. So our district advisors set up a lot of Zoom meetings, yes, but just kind of the idea of just going out to eat, talk about what's going on is important. I think that's kind of the best way to keep track of what everyone's doing. But with association officers, you guys are literally on other parts of the same state. So I mean, I know for Texas, that's got to be hard because you got to get on a plane or you got to drive 3 hours to get from Houston to Dallas. And it's crazy though sometimes. So 100%, I think that just kind of the balance of maintaining the social media aspects. And the thing is, like, I don't only run my Instagram account. I think people don't understand that sometimes, where you post a lot on your own because that's obviously about your Deca journey, but I'm also in charge of the District 7 Instagram account, and I'm monitoring my school's Instagram account. So there are other social media platforms and the Twitter or whatever it is. So it can be hard to kind of post everything in the same time frame. I think, but also just the idea of I have this due date for for people that are like us that are in more than one kind of aspect of Deca. Here's when I have to get my competition prep done. Here's when our school's first meeting is. Here's when I have to go for this for an association or a district or whatever it is. And so it is a lot of dates to keep in mind.
Yeah, for sure.
Actually moves into the next part, which is just, I mean, we talked about this a lot, but how do you manage your time, you know, between Deca, other things? What's it like kind of doing that as an association officer, just kind of in your capacity, what it's like to kind of manage the things? And it can be hard. And
absolutely.
Yeah. And it's hard to admit that. I've 100% can say that sometimes I didn't admit that I was struggling with that. That would probably be one of my struggles, that sometimes there's just so much going on at once.
Yeah, you're so right. And I mean, there's going to be times where everything's just flowing, everything's getting done perfectly. And there's going to be times where you feel like, it's not as easy to get everything done, or maybe there's going to be times where you're just feeling a little overwhelmed. So, and as teenagers in high school, we can totally relate to that in any way, shape, or form. But to manage my time, honestly, as much as we all procrastinate at times, I just try my best to make sure that, especially if other people are waiting on me to get something done, I try to focus on the things that involve other people first.
I agree with that. Yeah.
Because there are some things, because of course, as officers, and I know you understand this as well, there are some things that are team goals and there are some things that are individual goals. And it's so important to make sure that you hold yourself accountable when other people and your entire state are relying on you in a sense. And sometimes that can be a little stressful, but
it can be, yeah.
Absolutely. But it's just a matter of prioritizing the things that impact other people and also are important to me as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I also have like my cute little planner. It's in my backpack.
Yeah, mine's in my backpack.
I just have like a cute little, I'm that girl. I have little markers and pens that I code my.
Hey, that girl are the most organized girls. So if it works, it works. There's nothing. Right. So that's 100% true. And it just kind of comes with responsibility. And it can be hard to know that you have the responsibility to do things for other people that are expecting you to get stuff done. So just for instance, every single month we have to procure a District 7 social media calendar. That has to be done by a particular day every single month.
Okay.
And if it's not done, there are consequences. So there are those things as well where you're just like, and sometimes it comes up on you. Like sometimes you're doing it on the day of the deadline, but it's just sometimes where you just have to be like, it's also hard right now. Did you start school already?
I did. I started on the 8th.
Yeah, we started on the 10th. So
you did. Oh, that was right after me. Okay.
So when school, I will say this is probably the easiest time to get the most amount of stuff done.
Yeah.
I'm just going to go like this.
Yeah.
But you're probably doing college apps and so many other things right now. So it can, those type of deadlines, especially when you're really busy, can just continuously be like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
But it's really just about a planner or some sort of thing where you can, even a notes app, it doesn't have to be the most formal thing. And sometimes if I don't remember to put in my planner, it'll just go on my phone.
Right. Same here.
And you're just constantly like, especially for these spotlights.
Yeah.
When I have them scheduled, I have to write it down immediately. Like, I don't know what date I said, what time I said I was going to do it. I have to do this after I get home from school. Am I going to be changed already? Whatever it's going to be. I'm thinking through that all the time. And for Deca members, especially, I think more than any other organization, club that I've ever seen, we are the most involved students.
I would have to agree with you on that for sure. Even on the chapter level, it's just crazy.
Not even just in Deca, but just in the sheer amount of things that we do, the rigorous course loads, just the amount of stuff that we're involved in reflects who we are in Deca as well. And I will tell you, sometimes, and I know that pretty much everyone who has at least a relatively similar schedule to mine, you definitely do, I'll lay down at night, I'll turn off my lights, I am laying down, sleeping, and then all of a sudden, everything that I had to do for the day races through my brain, and it's like a checklist. I'm like, did I do that? Did I not do that? It is the worst thing. It is not good for me. But you are
giving me flashbacks right now.
I mean, like, it'll happen tonight. I guarantee. Like, I'm in my room. I will lay down on the bed behind me, and all of a sudden, I'm thinking, okay, did I finish that AP homework assignment? Did I do that? Did I sign up for this? Did I finish this Deca thing? It's the funniest thing in the world.
I know.
It just happens to every single person. And there's no way that you can escape that unless you just kind of keep track of it. There's
so
really
true. Oh my gosh. It's so funny when your mind like roams to things that won't happen for like 4 years.
Oh my God.
I'm like, what are you like? Sleep. Sleep.
Yeah. It's just like, there's like something that's like due next month. And just like, I started that already. But yeah, that's really, really funny.
Yeah.
So Deca High.
Deca Highs?
Yeah. Or like the biggest thing that you were like, here I am.
Just, do you mean like the point where I knew that this is where I'm supposed to be, or just any kind of?
No, just something that you were like, just you really enjoyed doing. But it can be your just point where you want to.
Yeah. Honestly, I mean, I'm sure I'm not the only one that has this answer, but I love just any form of in-person, whether it's chapter visits. Oh my gosh, whether it's chapter visits, state conferences, or the Emerging Leader Summit, it's any kind of opportunity where I get to meet the members a part of my state or even association officers from other states. It is honestly life-changing every time I go to one of those conferences, just because I know it sounds so cliche to say, we all say it like, oh, but I love meeting new people. It's so nice. But
it's like genuine thing.
It is a genuine, it's a genuine fact. Just the people we've all gotten the opportunity to meet and connect with and relate to on so many things that we can't always relate to. And it's just so powerful to make those connections, connect on social media and hype each other up throughout the whole year. I just meeting people in Deca is just, any kind of in-person is just life-changing.
I have to agree with that. And I think honestly, my moment, well, I have two. I have like one where like that was like my I made it moment, but it was for competition. It wasn't actually for leadership, but then there's one for leadership too. So like a leadership summit, TLS was kind of a training thing. Rajan and O'Brien were there, and it was kind of like the greatest experience. I was never expecting that. We didn't even know they were coming. I think I saw.
Did they surprise you?
Well, it was like on O'Brien's Instagram story. He goes like, I'm flying. I think it was his. It was like, I'm flying to Austin, right? And I saw what he was doing, and I immediately go like, wait, Austin? That's where I'm gonna be.
That's where we are.
Yeah. So I had a little inkling, but I didn't know it was gonna be both of them. And so the funniest thing, because we were playing board games and he was getting frustrated because he was losing. It was like the most casual way it was the most casual way to see those people that you kind of looked up to in Deca. So that was like a really interesting meeting and getting to know the state officer team, all those different things.
Yeah.
But also just, oh my God. At ICDC. The mosh pit. It was actually so, this is gonna sound so stupid, but there was just, first of all, not a smart decision to do that in a blazer and heels. But when we were there, you were just kind of doing this and you're like, what the heck?
You're like, what's going on?
Next to a bunch of people in blazers at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, Georgia. Oh, then you were also kind of like, wow, I guess this is what all the hype was about.
Yeah, literally.
The funniest thing in the world. But that was just kind of a high. I was like, okay, I guess I made it. Like, this is what's fun now. So yeah, that was definitely a really, 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 really big thing.
Oh my gosh. Honestly, I feel like anyone who went to last year's international conference can say the exact same thing. Yeah. Just, I mean, I think that only the seniors at the time, like the just graduating seniors, were the only ones that had the opportunity to go to an in-person ICDC. So the other 3 grades that were there were literally caught by the best surprise. And I'm included in that because I was a junior. But wow, I love that you said that, because there's just so many normal teenage activities that we do on these trips that so much fun. Yeah. Those conferences are the absolute best. It's just the energy in Deca. The genuine energy, the genuine love for it is just so cool to see.
Right. I think when you get to the ICDC level, it's a completely different aspect.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it doesn't reflect at your district or to state conference. I mean, it's big, but then when you get there, it's it's exciting.
Yeah. I mean, it's so big it's so important to promote ICDC, because honestly, I love the state conference. It's so much fun. And we actually don't have districts, but from what I've heard, districts are also the most awesome things. But
you guys just go to state?
Say it again.
It's just straight to state?
Yeah, for us, it's just straight to state. Because in certain states, there aren't as many like a wide distribution.
Right.
So you end up just having a state. But yeah, Nevada is one of those, because ours is primarily Southern Nevada. So there's no need for like district competitions. But regardless, though, our state is so cool. And yeah, ICDC is just life-changing, utterly life-changing. So, I mean,
I don't actually know if I know this. What event do you compete in?
I actually change it up every year.
Ooh, but, okay.
I'm going to ask you the same question after this too, because I'm curious, but I did Principles of Hospitality my first year, Marketing Communications my sophomore year, and then my junior year, I did Integrated Marketing Campaign for event.
I haven't done that. Okay.
How about you? What did you compete in?
Startup business plan.
Has that just been your ongoing event that you've done?
Yeah, it is. So I have the same team. We do it every single year. I don't know. Something worked with it. It's competitive, but we just continue to do good in it. And I just kind of love the freedom of the event, where I can kind of make it what I want it to be, unlike some of the other events. But I just think there's really an event that every single person can find in Deca.
So true.
Mm-hmm.
But I love that. Start a business plan. Usually everyone I know who does that event just sticks with it through all the years because they just enjoy it.
About it. Yeah. I think it's just one of those events that you just grow so attached to.
Yeah.
You don't want to leave it. And I think the benefit of it is that it changes so much because you do a different product every single year. So it almost feels like a different event sometimes.
Yeah.
But just kind of the same format. So I do love the event. It's like my little baby.
Love that. Did you compete at ICDC for it too?
I did. Yes.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah.
Oh, so cool. Oh, wait. Yeah. You staged for it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I know. I remember you posting about that. Congrats, by the way.
Thank you. So I think like the weirdest part about that is that I was on stage with my teammates.
Mm-hmm.
There was like two of us. No, there was linest up, shortest to tallest. I'm the shortest. So they put like my taller teammates behind me or kind of off to the side.
Wait. How tall are you?
I'm 5'2".
Oh, okay.
I'm super short. I don't think. But, like I'm shorter than some people.
No, don't ask me my height. I'm tall.
They just put us like that, right? Like stairs. And they called third. And then I make a face. And I didn't mean to make that face because I was really happy for the girl. But I go like, hold up. I literally go like on stage. If you watch the Grand Awards session, you can see that video of me just
after this, I'll just like pull it up and just
I think I posted the whole video too, so it's on there somewhere.
Yeah.
And so my hands are off to the side, and then I like smile at the camera or whatever. And my advisor is taking pictures, whereas one of our chapter officers is recording the whole thing.
Yeah.
And they're like, by the front. And so my chapter advisor, it was a live photo, so I could see what he said. And he said, Sarah's about to poop her pants. And I go like, yes, I am. Of course I'm about to. I was literally so nervous on that stage because I was like, I just wanted to do good,
Yeah.
So it was really funny. And then they called for a second. And I was like, okay, well, it's okay, guys, move on. Yeah. And then they called first, and I was like, what is going on here? We ran up. I think it was like a reflex. I just heard my name and I just ran up. And I took it, and they like took us back to meet the new executive officers. Oh, so cool. And I saw Hadley, but it was like my brain wasn't functioning. That's the thing.
I mean, you just placed first internationally.
I barely remember what happened. Like I remember what happened. I don't remember how it happened, what I was feeling. Yeah. I'm just like, and then I started crying.
Oh, I would have too.
And I'm not a crier, I don't think. Like I'm usually not the type of person who does that stuff. But then all of a sudden I was crying, and I go like, okay, well, I guess this is what we're doing now. So
yeah, like I remember you posting first internationally, and in my head I'm like, oh, she probably lost it. Yeah. I would have lost it.
I was like, huh? And I like FaceTime my mom literally like 5 seconds after we got off stage.
I love that.
And my mom was like, I was watching the live stream. I know what happens. And it was very, very, very sweet. But it was very, very funny too.
Congrats, by the way. That is so cool.
So the last thing we're going to talk about is your advice for members.
My advice?
Yes. Just kind of like whatever you think is the best pieces of wisdom you'd like to leave them with.
Best pieces of wisdom. I think that honestly, this can be for a member perspective, officer perspective, anything. I think it's just so important to lead with I said this with Liv as well. Just lead with passion and lead with love in your organization, because when you're talking about your organization, you're talking about Deca to potential members or even just to friends. It's when they can see that you like what you're doing and that you enjoy Deca, that's what's going to make them want to join. Mm-hmm. And I think it's just as overwhelming as life can be sometimes, as much work as Deca itself can even be sometimes. It's just such a good reminder to remember, like, hey, this is why I'm here. Mm-hmm. I love this. I enjoy this. And these conferences make it all worth it. The people I meet make it all worth it. The amazing impact it's had on me career-wise is all worth it. So just remember the main reason you joined, and remember the main reason you stayed, and then show that to other people.
That's a really good reminder. That is, because sometimes you lose track of that. You were sitting here like, why did I come here in the first place? Yeah. But reminding yourself of that every once in a while is a good way to just kind of keep yourself motivated. So I think that is a great way to end off this episode of Spotlights with Sarah. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode. It has been an absolute pleasure to talk to Alex. I'm going to keep her on for just a second here, but going on to episode 4. I'm so excited. This has just been such an amazing series to kind of lead and be a part of.
Absolutely.
I'm so happy with the support that it's been recognized. I did also start the YouTube account, so there will be vlogs probably from conferences and stuff like that.
I love that.
So it'll be exciting. It'll probably be kind of funny, but I will see you guys in the next one.
Perfect. Thank you for having me, Sarah.